Last time on Fissure's Initiative Short Stories. Our heroes journeyed west on board the DFWS Valkyrie across the ocean into Buenas Bebidas, the Orc Nation. Not wanting to pass up the opportunity to sightsee in the Orc capital, they landed in Ordome. The city was built around a giant arena which had recently held the latest sports ball tournament. While walking around, they spotted a small shack. Ume, still disagreeing with her demonic chicken nuggets, pried open the door, hoping to find a toilet. Instead, she found two orcs playing chess.
Sorry, I was looking for a restroom.
The pixie darted behind the shack and puked. From the pile of spew, an eyeball blinked open at her.
You won this one, buddy.
Throwing her hands up in surrender, she returned to Melvin, who had struck up conversation with the orcs.
So, you are the leader of the Orc Nation?
He said to the orc on the left. He was dressed in leather with various bones embedded into the armor.
Yes, I was. And former leader of the Wages of Sin.
And you are his brother.
That's right.
The orc on the right wore a suit of metal armor.
Why aren't you the leader anymore?
Because I tried to take over the world.
A mischievous grin spread across the orc's face. He stuck out a hand.
My name is Orthaka. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ume hesitantly shook his hand.
And I'm Amarok.
The orc on the right waved.
I help stop him. And it's my job to stop him if he tries again.
Ume waved back. Something about Orthaka made her uneasy. She tugged on Melvin's sleeve and whispered into his ear.
Hey, let's go.
Melvin nodded.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
They toured the city for a few more hours and then returned to the ship. Ume's mind stayed on Orthaka. She didn't like him. They lifted off and flew to Kolgaka, arriving in the evening. They quickly found Sirsha and Tepache's cumbias and drinks. The restaurant was on a ship at the dock. Catchy tunes played on a gramophone in a corner of the room. The sports ball game was on the TV in a corner of the ship. The Ordome Death's Head Scorpions were winning, as usual. A dark elf was waiting tables as an orc cooked food. They approached the dark elf.
Hello, miss. We are looking for Tepache.
Oh, that's her right over there.
She pointed to the cook.
Ah, thank you, miss. By chance, are you Sirsha?
Setting down the server's plate, she nodded and stuck out a hand.
Yep, that's me.
Melvin shook her hand.
We've been looking for someone to help us defeat Durvyus of the Storms. Do you think she would lend us her aid?
The dark elf grinned with mischief in her eyes.
I'm pretty sure she'd want to kill him.
Ume and Melvin exchanged glances.
You know him?
Oh yeah, we keep tabs on all the members of the Wages of Sin.
The duo bowed and greeted Tepache.
Want to kill Durvyus?
I'm in.
Wait, just like that?
He's one of the Wages of Sin. They need to die.
Apparently, he has slain the rest of them, and now he is the last.
Good. Then he did our work for us.
You don't want anything in return.
The orc shook her head as she flipped a burger.
Nope, just want to kill the guy. But then,
She looked thoughtful.
there are those kidnappings that have been going on. Maybe you could look into those for me.
Deal! Where can we find these kidnappers?
Do like Torque. I don't know much, but it's gotta stop. There's a stronghold there, and I hear they have something to do with it. I used to be the captain there, until Ortaka took back over Buenas Bebidas.
That creepy guy in Ordome?
Tepache grinned.
That's the one.
I don't like that guy.
Me neither.
We will investigate the kidnappings.
The three exchanged bows, and our hero departed for Dulwick Torg. The hot desert air stung their skin as the airship raced across the desert. Cacti and dry bushes dotted the sand. But then, in the distant horizon, emerged a great oasis. The stronghold, walled off from the rest of the town, sat next to the lake. They landed just outside the base. Melvin and Ume stepped off the Valkyrie and approached the main gate.
Halt! Hello, we would like to visit.
Ume facepalmed as the orc laughed.
Get out of here.
Our heroes, kicking rocks in that aw shucks way, wandered into the local bar, the Edgy Warbler Cafe. They sat at the bar and ordered some drinks.
We need a way to get into that base.
Or just evidence that the kidnappings are happening.
And then, even with the Valkyrie, we cannot defeat them.
Then let's call Brenna. She might be able to help.
Grand idea.
They stepped outside and used the earring she gave him.
Commander Brenna, we could use your help. There are abductions taking place. We are in Dulwig Torg.
All right, I'm on my way. I'll be later there tonight.
Magnificent!
The duo looked around.
What do we do in the meantime?
We look for evidence, I suppose.
What if we set up a trap? You can wander the streets, they'll snag you, I'll follow, and I'll lead Brenna right to him.
That's a terrifying idea. Ha 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 ha.
Fine, I'll be the bait.
Much better. When do we start?
They waited until nightfall. Melvin hid close by as Ume meandered the streets alone. None paid her much attention until a shady orc beckoned from an alley.
Hey, Pixie, want some cookies?
Ooh, cookies!
She flew to the orc, and he trapped her in a burlap sack. She kicked and screamed.
Why is there never any cookies?
The orc ran towards the base as Melvin followed. The main gate opened as a shady orc approached, letting him inside. Melvin contacted Brenna again.
They've kidnapped my friend. It's definitely the base.
Hang on, I'm almost there.
Minutes later, a bright light streaked across the sky. Brenna, in her shining armor, appeared over the base with a loud boom. She drew her mighty sword as it crackled with energy.
I bring justice in the name of the light.
Her voice echoed across the land. With the flash of light, she flew straight down into the stronghold. Panicked screams could be heard throughout the structure. The main gate opened once again, and a torrent of horrified orcish soldiers flooded out into the streets. Melvin charged in and began checking the buildings for cages. He found an underground prison with cells packed with prisoners of all races. Ume was in one of them.
We need to check the captain's desk. I overheard them saying they're following Othaka's orders.
Melvin melted the lock with a spell and freed the prisoners. They searched the offices and found the written orders.
We should bring these back to Tapachi.
The duo ran out of the complex and back to the airship. The Valkyrie lifted off as Melvin contacted Commander Brenna.
The prisoners are rescued. We are heading back to Kolgaka.
Moments later, Commander Brenna landed on the airship. She inspected the orders.
Looks like Arthaka's behind all of this. I bet we could take this to Buenas Bebidas Council and have him removed.
Oh my god, can we make Tapachi the new chief?
Brenna nodded.
That's not a bad idea. Not only would you have a strong warrior on your side, but maybe even the entire orcish army.
It's settled then. We'll try to convince Tapachi to be the new chief.
A few nights into the flight, Ume found Commander Brenna on the deck, smoking a cigarette. She was enjoying the starry night and cool desert breeze.
Hey, can I ask you something?
Sure.
You're a half angel, right?
Brenna grimaced a little bit, looking slightly anxious.
Last time I checked.
What happened to your wings?
For a moment, Brenna only stared into the night.
A guy with a beaked mask tore him off.
Ume gasped.
I'm so sorry.
Brenna shook her head.
It's okay. These work just fine.
She flapped them slightly.
Why did he do it?
I don't know. Malice, maybe? The first time I fought him, I lost. He dragged me into hell during the war against the invading demons. Lydia eventually busted me out, but not until afterwards.
Lydia? Lydia Okamura? The Forgotten One?
Brenna nodded.
Yeah, most people don't know it anymore, but she's my sister.
Ume gasped.
The Forgotten One is your sister?
Yep, she blamed herself for my capture. A few years later, with a little magic, they were able to regrow him.
Brenna's countenance fell. Painful memories washed over her eyes as she spoke.
But then the guy with the beaked mask attacked us at Haven. It was only seconds after regrowing my wings. We fought him, but he won again.
Brenna took a long drag on the cigarette. The embers burned brightly, faintly illuminating her face.
During the fight, he tore him off again. And then that ghost made out of light fought with him. There was a huge explosion, and then both of them were gone.
And that's when magic stopped working?
Brenna somberly nodded as she continued.
Yeah, it did eventually come back, though. Lydia offered to try again with my wings, but...
Her words trailed off as she looked into the distance. She seemed deep in thought.
I think that thing had a personal vendetta against me. Like, maybe it was angry that I had wings. I had these metal ones built, and I haven't seen him since.
Do you ever think of trying again?
She shook her head.
As long as he doesn't come back and hurt anybody else, he can keep them.
Ume eyed the area where the wings connected to her back. Nuts and bolts stuck out of her flesh, and her skin seemed swollen and red. It looked uncomfortable.
Does Does it hurt?
The half-angel gave a despondent smile.
It never doesn't.
Ume patted her on the shoulder, and the two watched the clouds pass by as they soared through the sky. They arrived at Kolgaka the next morning and found Tepache at the restaurant.
Tepache, we have evidence.
He slammed the papers down on the counter. The orc warrior inspected them.
This is good. We can put a stop to this right now.
Say, how do you feel about being a new chief?
The orc paused.
Do you think I should?
She looked at Commander Brenna, who smiled warmly and nodded.
Then I think I'll do it.
Stellar! How can we help?
I'll stay behind and make sure the transition goes smoothly. I think you two should keep making your preparations for Durvyus. You should also let King Durzin know we have more allies on the way.
Who's gonna cook for the restaurant?
Tepache chuckled and patted Ume's head.
Priorities, little one. Priorities.
Our heroes traveled back to Yan Kardu and gave King Durzin the good news. Melvin collected a massive fortune from his lockbox while Ume checked in on the employees. Candles surrounded the statue of Zalumoga as the dwarves bowed and chanted something in a language she had never heard before.
Okay, fuck this.
Ume, through some trickery, brought the dwarves to the teleportation room and sent them to work in Tepache's restaurant. Then, she had the statue teleported to the bathhouse in Dusky Beach. As she pushed the effigy to the edge of the portal to hell, its eyes glowed red and it hissed as it spoke.
You do not want to do this, child.
The fuck? You can talk?
I am Zalamoga, the goddess of hate, suffering, domination, pain, and violence.
Yeah, I'm just gonna push you into hell.
Wait,
Ume paused.
I can make you powerful.
Nope.
With a great shove, she pushed the statue into hell. Ume walked away, dusting off her hands. Will our heroes be able to defeat Durvyus of the Storms with the aid of Commander Brenna and Tepache? Will those dwarves be able to help Saoirse run the restaurant? And was dropping that statue into hell a good idea? Find out next time on Fissure's Initiative Short Stories.